Good morning, and welcome to the What Inspired Me Today podcast, a podcast created to inspire you to be the very best that you can be. My name is Stephen Matthew, and this is what inspired me today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. It is an honor and a privilege to be speaking with you today. First off, I want to say a big thank you to all of those who have commented and watched the previous podcast. I take all of your feedback to heart, and it is giving me the incentive to be able to continue making a podcast in this format. So thank you for your feedback. I will take them to make incremental changes, and I greatly appreciate your continued support, both here on Spotify and any other platform that you listen to, as well as now having a visual format through YouTube. For those that don't know where to find it, look for What Inspired Me Today podcast on YouTube. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support. The quote that I wanted to share with you today is from John Quincy Adams. He was the 6th president of the United States. And he says this: "If your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more, you are a leader." When we think about leadership, we often think about individuals that are larger than life. We think about people that have charisma, that are able to speak to thousands of people, that can inspire generations. We think about these huge, larger than life figures. But what I would argue is that every single one of us has leadership within us. We are all leaders in our own right, even when we don't think we are. So, for example, if you're a parent, you are a leader. You're a leader to your children. If you are a spouse, you are a leader to your spouse. Now, this doesn't have to just be gendered in one way or another. At different times in our life, we're going to rely upon our partners in order to get strength and to be inspired. If you are a sibling, you might be a leader for your younger siblings, or vice versa. If you're a teacher, you're going to be a leader to your kids and your students. If you're a manager at a workplace, or if you're a co-worker, you might be leading the people around you, and so you might be a leader in that front. And finally, if you're a mentor, or if you are getting mentored and are a mentee, you might be a leader as well. The point being, we are all leaders in our own right. And so the question becomes not this grandiose image of leadership, but can I encourage you today about our own personal leadership? That's what I want to talk about today. How can we become better leaders, not necessarily for other people, but for ourselves? Because as we become better leaders to ourselves, we will be able to then influence the world around us in a positive way. So how do we become better personal leaders? How can I lead myself first to then maybe inspire other people to change as well? The first thing that we should do for our own selves is to have our own set and defined goals. I've talked about goal setting many times before, but dream big. Have big ideas and big ambitions. They don't need to be impossible, but if we have an ideal to work towards, then we will have a pathway to move forward in life. Once you have determined where you want to go, then you can set a plan about what you want to do in order to get there. Now, all of us should ideally have our own personal goals. Where do I want to be as a man? Where do I want to be as a husband? Where do I want to be as a teacher? Where do I want to be as a friend in the future? How can I make myself better through my own actions every single day? Remember, just like we spoke about in a previous podcast, how can we make incremental changes in our lives? Because those incremental changes will have monumental effects. The next thing that we can do is to lead by example. Mahatma Gandhi, he's the one that had the famous quote that says, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." I might not be able to influence all that is going on around the world, and thankfully I am not in that position. What I can change though is who I am, how I act, how I talk, how I interact with the people around us. Spreading positivity can be as simple as smiling. It can be as simple as offering gratefulness and thankfulness for a task that is done. It can be as simple as acknowledging someone else when they speak. When we lead by example, we are not only doing it for our own selves, but we're setting that example for the people around us. The third thing that I want to encourage us to help us with our personal leadership is to honor other people. I could spend a whole podcast just talking about the principle of honor. Honor means to acknowledge. Honor means to respect. Honor means to give people acknowledgement and appreciation when they do things. We are all individuals as human beings seeking validation, seeking love and compassion from other people. When we honor people with our respect, when we honor them with our time, when we honor them with our talents, when we honor them by being the best version of ourselves, we are actually making the world a better place for everyone. In saying that, find the good in everyone. Now, there are going to be people that you like and those people that you don't like as well, and that is natural. But finding the good in every person that you come across, finding the value in that person and seeing their humanity through your own eyes and through their eyes helps us to open up dialogue and helps us to develop a greater sense of humanity. And so find the good in others and ultimately care for other people. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. As we care for the human beings around us, we develop an empathy, we develop in love, we develop in compassion, knowing that none of us are exempt from the troubles in this world. None of us are exempt from one bad day that could cause us to snap. When I look at individuals and I see the sadness in their eyes, especially if they are homeless, for example, I have to remind myself that the position that they are in, I am not that far away from myself. And so I have to extend grace and compassion, as an example, to those individuals in my own day-to-day life. So we can grow in this empathy for other people. The next thing that I want to say is that we should, when the time arises, embrace new ideas and new opportunities as they come. I will never claim to know everything. I will never claim that I'm the smartest, that I have the most degrees. I will never claim that I am this high and mighty person, because there is always something new to learn. There is always perspectives I have never heard about before. There is always new things to understand. And so being open with your mind, even if you don't agree with the ideas, even if you don't agree with the concepts sometimes or other people's ways of thinking, that's okay. If I can understand you better, we can have better conversation. We can develop in friendship, even if we are diametrically opposed from each other. And so as we do that, we're actually setting up a time for opportunities to grow in our own lives, to grow ourselves, and to build other people up with us. The second to last thing is this: actively reject pessimism. This is something that I have to work on myself every single day. There are so many things that are changing in the world at a rapid pace, and it is very, very easy to fall into a pessimistic mindset. When we fall into pessimism, we become defeatist in our mind. And if we become defeatist in our mind, then we cannot positively change the world in an efficient manner. When we look for the positives in this world, it takes effort and it takes a little bit of trying to do so, because our brain is naturally inclined in order to steer towards pessimism. So it takes active work in our mind to reject pessimism. life is temporary, and that can be a great thing, and it can sometimes feel like a negative thing. But just know this, that this too will pass. And so I want to encourage you to actively reject pessimism. The final thing is this. In order to develop yourself and personal leadership, find someone that you like, someone that you admire, someone that you look up to, and ask them to be a mentor in your own lives. Because none of us can get by and learn new things without people teaching us. Ask in humility if someone else can be your mentor. And you can have mentors for different parts of your life. Some people might be more financially adept. Some people might be more relationally adept. Some people might be better in the workplace. Find the people that you admire, the ones that you want to learn from, and ask them if they can be your mentor. In the same way, just as you ask to be mentored, open your mind, open your heart, open your time for those that you can mentor yourself. We might think that we're not ready to mentor other people, but just know that your life experience counts for something. Your life experience and the things that you've gone through are things that other people can learn from, that other people can glean wisdom from. And so don't put too much pressure on yourself. You don't need to know everything in this world. But when you pull someone up, you are raising the tide, pulling up other boats with you. You are raising other people up as you develop yourself. And so I want to encourage you today. You might not feel like it, but you are a leader. If you are someone that has inspired someone to dream more, to do more, to think more, to believe more, you are a leader. And so continue to work on yourself and be the best person that you can be. With that said, have a great week.